MAGA loves their new branding as the big tent party. What they fail to mention in follow up sentences is their tent includes Proud Boys, white supremacists, and Nazis. And of course, the person who just can't quit doing Nazi stuff is the same fellow who is the richest man in the world, on course to be the world's first trillionaire, bought and paid for his proximity to the executive branch of the White House. As you all know, in the first week, and we're still only in the first week of this horrific second term of Trump, he did a back-to-back Nazi salute at one of the inaugural speeches. The ADL had a really weird response, and I want to put that up. It's a delicate moment. It's a new day, and yet so many are on edge. Our politics are inflamed, and social media only adds to the anxiety. It seems that Elon Musk made an awkward gesture in a moment of enthusiasm. Not a Nazi salute, but again, we appreciate that people are on edge. Okay, to me, this is just continued gaslighting. When you
Yeah.
look at Elon Musk's history, he promotes Holocaust deniers on X. He talks about the great replacement theory. He agrees with people and likes tweets that have overtly anti Semitic messages.
My question is, why would the Anti-Defamation League run cover for him? It's obvious what it was, not just the people in the United States, around the world. People are outraged by this. Why would they give him cover? Is it capitulation? Because they know as well as anybody exactly what he did.
They know exactly what he did. Everybody knows exactly what he did. And people that are saying, oh, he's autistic, this is really insulting to people that suffer from autism or that have autism diagnoses, that they wouldn't have the mental acuity to decipher between a very well choreographed Heil Hitler and some sort of awkward, twitch or something. But of course, Elon Musk, that ADL fucked around. And then last night, here's what Elon Musk tweets. And this is Elon Musk words, not mine. Don't say Hess to Nazi accusations. Some people will gobbles anything down. Stop goring your enemies. His pronouns would have been he/Himmler. Bet you did not see that coming. Today is the 80th anniversary of the liberation of the Auschwitz concentration camp. And there's nothing funny about all of the mass murderers and executors of genocide that he mentioned in that tweet. And so the ADL goes out and tries to make it like somehow he didn't do a back-to-back Nazi salute. We all saw what he did. We all know what it is. And it's the ADL wants to, I don't know if they want close proximity to the administration, but that was abhorrent. They should have been the first to come out and say there is no room for this, there is no space for this. And look what happened. They defended him, and then look at what he did. He's laughing about mass murderers. And so they had to make an adjustment tweet, and let's put that up. Making inappropriate and highly offensive jokes that trivialize the Holocaust only serve to minimize the evil and inhumanity of Nazi crimes, denigrate the suffering of both victims and survivors, and insult the memory of the 6 million Jews murdered in the Shoah. I believe that's how that's pronounced. But I mean, here you go. Like, this is what happens. There is a long, storied history from Charlottesville to Musk doing the back-to-back Nazi salute, that Nazis are a part of the big tent. And the people that are defending Elon Musk and saying, oh, it was just an awkward thing, they don't like what he revealed about them so early on.
Well, it's absolutely unconscionable that he would make those jokes. But here's the thing, if he was sorry, if he didn't do it on purpose, why wasn't there an effusive apology on their website, and then a tweet to them saying, thank you so much, you're completely right, just on and on with total and complete apologies, non-mitigated, because he's not sorry. And I can't wrap my head around the ADL. I do not understand.
The ADL wanted to, when people on college campuses were protesting the war in Gaza, they called any form of protest to the attack on Gaza anti-Semitic. And Elon Musk took their side in that. And I think that it's a very difficult time sometimes for people to understand compound political thoughts. We oppose, obviously, the attack on the music festival and the killing of innocent concert goers and taking people hostage. We all saw with our own eyes a very hawkish Israeli regime led by Benjamin Netanyahu that just absolutely broke all sorts of crimes against humanity. And when kids that have open minds and compassion wanted to say, hey, this is wrong, they were called anti-Semitic. And so I think that the most important thing is that we allow for people to have the space to hold two truths at the same time. But one thing that Trump has done and Elon Musk has done and the ADF followed along with is this black and white thinking, this black and white reality. Either, the Israelis are 100% right and everybody in Palestine can fuck off. And that's just really not the reality of it. And the Israeli argument is, well, look at how they treat women. Well, look at how they treat gays. Well, if that's your argument, look at how the Trump administration is treating women. Look at how the Trump administration is treating trans people. Look at how the Trump administration is treating gays. Does that mean that all of our women and children deserve to die? By that logic. And so until we start allowing real nuanced intellectual conversations about this, you're going to see people that find what their thesis sentence is, and they're going to go suck up to the Elon Musk, which after he did back-to-back Nazi salutes, which just diminishes all of their credibility because that tweet's there. It's screenshot. It's forever. And they've not walked it back. And so that's why they did that, because they want a black and white worldview regarding the support of Israel. And nobody really sees that whole issue as a black and white issue. It is a very gray, decades-long issue.
It's so interesting that they're playing quid pro quo with Elon Musk. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. And he's rubbing it in their face. He is not allowing one shred of any credible person to think that he is not a white supremacist with all of his behavior and going out. I mean, the Nazi salute was just, that was so shocking because it's so overt. A lot of the things that they do, stand back and stand by in the Trump administration, the former administration, stand back, stand by. Well, what's that? That's a dog whistle that they took because we saw them on January 6th. And now they're not even trying to hide the racism. It's just his executive orders against DEI, against equal opportunity. It's kind of insane is what it is. Not kind of, it is insane.
Well, it's what they're doing is what fascist governments do, what authoritarian governments do is they wear you out, they fatigue you. And this to me is something that you cannot take your foot off the brake in the news cycle. If you've ever studied World War II and the atrocities that happened to the Jewish people and the war crimes and the genocide, it is something that really stays with you. It's horrific. And there's nothing funny, cute, or neat or alpha male about flirtation with Nazism and Nazi culture, which brings me to this last tweet, or actually it's a Blue Sky post by Ali Fogg. He says, Musk 100% did a Nazi salute. He wrote a line into a speech to provide a cover story for when he did. He did it not because he's a secret acolyte of Adolf Hitler, but because he's a pathetic 4chan troll who thinks doing Nazi cosplay is funny. And in many ways, that's worse. And so this is something I think is interesting to talk about. Do a lot of these younger MAGA people think it's fun and funny to Nazi cosplay? Or does Elon Musk really have much larger, more nefarious plans? We know that Trump admires Adolf Hitler, and he admires blind obedience, and he admires authoritarian rule. With Musk, I don't know. He sure does promote a lot of Nazi stuff on his website, but I do think that Trump and Musk have more nefarious plans, especially that Stephen Miller, and I don't think they have empathy. But I think a lot of the people that follow Musk and a lot of the people that follow Trump don't know about World War II, are not students of history, don't understand the significance of the Allied forces in the victory of World War II. And so I think a lot of them do cosplay. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, my first thought is, if he did it on purpose, that he put it in his speech where he knew he was going to do it, he always wants to be a disruptor. Do you think it's to see how much he can get away with? And then I also think the nefarious part of it is he wants to rile up people, like you said, that are not students of history, that don't understand the devastation and genocide of 6 million people. And so they think it's funny and alpha male to do that. But what he's saying, if I understand it correctly, is he doesn't really believe, he doesn't really admire Adolf Hitler. He's just doing it for shits and giggles. And my question is this his, look what I can get away with? I'm the most powerful man in the world. I'm the richest. I've got Trump on a string. Let's see what I can get away with. Or is it just a own the libs type thing?
I personally think that a lot of this stuff is not done by accident. I believe it's intentional. I believe the Charlottesville thing was intentional. I think when Trump said stand back and stand by, it is intentional. I believe that these people want an authoritarian, white supremacist worldview, and that does not include the Jewish race, even though they use them to curry favor for voting and to curry and stoke racism against Islamic countries. I believe Elon Musk knew exactly what he was doing, and I think he had it bottled up. I think it had been bottled up all through the election, and he couldn't wait to do it. We know that he intentionally did the Nazi salute, obviously, because we saw it with our own eyes, but look at how on the eve of the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz, he's joking around about sociopathic mass murderers that put children in ovens. I mean, there's nothing funny about that. So I don't know. The person who sent the tweet, I do think a lot of people in the movement cosplay a lot of this stuff. But at the top, the MSG rally, Stephen Miller, knowing that Ivana Trump has shared that Donald Trump had Mein Kampf, which, he's a notorious non-reader. So for him to have that book on his nightstand, I cannot help but think that this is incredibly, incredibly evil and nefarious. And I believe that the only awkward gesture in that is that he had it bottled up for a long time. And he finally felt emboldened enough to do it on the national stage.
I agree. And I think throughout the course of the next 4 years, through the Trump administration, we are going to see a lot more emboldened people with white supremacy views, misogynistic views. I think that we are going to see a rise in racism that we, who I'm in my 50s, that I can't wrap my head around.
What's so terrifying about that is I've already seen such an amazing rise. I can't imagine it getting worse.
Right.
But you're probably right. It will get worse. All right, guys, we'll see you all later.